What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Your Ex Drinking Buddy with me, your host, Brennan Tassif. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Full video available there. Check out the merch store. Look at all this stuff. We got all this stuff on the merch store. It's all available on the website, BrennanTComedy.com. You can also get my tour dates there. Every show that I have coming up, I'm going to be in New York, traveling the country, doing a bunch of gigs. So check it out. Get tickets at BrennanTComedy.com. Check out the merch store. And lastly, if you really want to support, go to www.patreon.com/BrennanTComedy. And that is where you can find Tales from the Restaurant, where I divulge everything about the celebrities I wait on. And also a little bit of behind the scenes. You'll also get the episodes early, a bunch of bonus episodes. Check it all out. Thank you so much. Enjoy the episode.
Grab me a beer and grab him a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Your Ex Drinking Buddy. I am your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown on the show. It used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It's my favorite thing to do. Hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do. Hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from New York City, Tayler Yarish. Ah!
Oh man, that was a lot.
I did it wrong. We literally just talked about it, and I said it the wrong way.
Oh,
Yarish.
I didn't even catch it.
I did. As soon as I said it, I was like, "You son of a bitch!"
I was so caught up on the WWE intro
Yeah.
that I was just
I gotta
like,
bring the energy.
yeah, no, I get it. I'm
And
here
it's
for it.
the reason why I do so much of the testing at the beginning is because so often I'll be like, I always ask questions to get people kind of just talking.
Mm-hmm.
Because so often I'll be like, check that mic, and they'll be like, check, 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 and then I'll do my intro, and they're like,
Right.
whoa, and I was like,
Yeah.
yo,
They feel like they have to match you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's plug everything up front.
Yeah.
September, big things coming out.
yes.
Let everybody know.
September, most likely look for a special on my YouTube, Tayler Yarish, TaylerYarish, and it's my first name and comedy is me on Instagram. So I'll be promoting everything on there. Just give me a follow there.
Do you have a name for the special? You're not saying it yet.
Overzealous.
Overzealous. Come on.
Overzealous is the name of it. It pertains to a joke, but also it kind of just encompasses my whole energy for
Same.
a lot of this material, because the material is kind of like sparse over 10 years.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like there's a lot of stuff in there where I'm like, I'm not even that guy anymore, but tried to do it all justice.
I got into that thing because not only with having the baby, but I actually have the same kind of setup. Mine's chasing dreams, but again, it pertains to a joke, but also moving to New York,
yeah.
From across the country, like doing
Look at
all
us
the
being
things.
artistic.
Yeah. But it's so funny you bring up the stuff because like some of the jokes in there are like 10 years old
Yeah.
in mine, but they're like, that's my tight 5, my tight 10, like they're my go-to
right.
jokes. And they pertain to when I was drinking and partying and getting in trouble, but they're still so funny that
Yeah.
it was kind of like, well, I'm not going to not put this somewhere for people to see.
Yeah. It's well,
But also if I'm doing these jokes and when I have a 5-year-old running around, something's gone terribly wrong.
Yeah. For sure. I felt like some of these jokes I've had since I started, and so I'm like, they have to go in there because I'm not as good a comedian as I wasn't as good a comedian as I am now, where I can write a lot quicker. My instincts for when that's a joke that that's a bit.
Yeah, that's a
that's
bit.
become a lot.
We say that on the show all the time.
That's a bit.
Because we'll be talking and then someone will say something hilarious and I'm like, come on, man. Like that's the
a
bit.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, it's not going to take me another 10 years to do a special.
Mhm.
So I can kind of pick and choose a little better. Whereas before it was just like everything I have has to be in it. Now there's some stuff I didn't put in there, but like there's some stuff that's like near and dear to my heart. Even if I'm not totally that guy anymore, it's more like, hey, this was the launching point.
Yeah.
For a lot of this other stuff. Like these are one of the first few jokes that I really figured out.
And you
So
were
I'm
like, this is I did this.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
I'm
a
like, they have to
huge
go in there.
milestone as a comic to, It's one thing to get on stage and like, especially now with this Rogan generation where it's and Kill Tony, where it's a lot of like people we see it at open mics. People will just get up and say shit and you're like, yo, what the fuck? That's not even a joke. You're just spewing hate.
Not even that. It's like, I see that obviously, but then also there's so much wasted time.
Yeah.
So much wasted time where a buddy of mine and I, we go to a lot of mics together and we always look at it and we're just like, what did you come here to do?
Mm-hmm.
Or like they show up and they will just spend their whole time riffing on what the last guy said. It's like, that's not what you wrote in your notebook this morning. And I don't know their situation. Maybe they're a year in and they're just trying to get better at like
stage presence,
all that stuff. But
being
to me,
comfortable, all that shit.
Yeah. It's like a thing we've all done it where you were like, I'm trying to get good at killing you try to get good at killing at the open mic.
Yeah.
And you're like, none of this is going to be.
But that's not exactly. I talk about it on the show all the time. If you kill at an open mic with a bit, that bit's not going to work in a regular room most of the time.
Like a mic is to get it out of your face in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like
say it out loud so you can be like, that didn't work.
Yeah.
That timing was different than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Oh, the funny line's actually here, not there.
Yeah, because I'll write stuff out. I write stuff over and over again, and then I'll say it out loud, and I like auto edit.
Yeah.
And the word choice is different, and it gets more to be in my actual voice, where it's like, I'm starting to understand more and more of these people who like, not to say that I write on stage, but to be like, but to be like, I know I can memorize kind of where it's going or where I think it's going, but if I don't write it out, my brain will choose the words that are most in my voice anyway because I have no other choice.
Yep.
Whereas opposed, like I'm not like a math guy. Like some comics are like
very analytical.
Very analytical, and I'm like, to me that clashes so much with my natural sense of humor and how I am on stage, which is like silly and physical and expressive and all this stuff. And so it's not. A lot of my stuff is not you read it on a piece of paper and you're laughing out loud.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a lot of the same way. And as a storyteller, because I'm more of a storyteller, I get caught in so my whole thing is if something happens that I think is a funny story, and I've had a few comics help me kind of discover this, it was don't try to be silly. Don't try to be like, oh, I'm going to put this in there and move that around. They go, the first time you say it, like if you're like, oh, that was a really funny story, just say what happened.
Right.
Because my brain naturally, I'm a funny person. My brain naturally it'll come out that way.
Yeah.
And that's way funnier than trying to force something like that you wrote down and you haven't even said yet. And so for me, a lot of it is, to your point, not writing on stage, but a lot of it is like, I'll go to a mic, I'll say this whole story the way it happened. And then because I record everything, I audio record everything, I go back and listen to it and I like edit it myself that way. And then I'll be like, oh, that's the funny line.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes I've been like, oh, that was funny, but I'm going to make it more bombastic and more hilarious. And then I've gone on stage and it's bombed and I'm like, oh, what? The actual story is funny. Like, why are you trying to?
It can feel too written.
100%. Yeah.
Too written, too rehearsed. And you end up saying it like a joke. Mm-hmm. Instead of just
like you're reading off a piece of paper versus So I'm very similar in that sense where I'll just write down like bullet points if something happens and then I'll go up on stage and talk about it. This has happened a lot with obviously having a newborn where things are happening. And same thing. I went to a mic and I was like, oh, this is all like because I hadn't been on stage in 3 weeks, so I was just writing and writing and writing. So I just went on stage and was like just reading basically what I had written.
Yeah.
And everyone just kind of was like, yeah, I mean, I guess. And then I had a show the next day and I just was like, I'm just going to say what's been going on.
Yeah.
And as long as I had the premises locked in, I was just talking about it. And then that got way better of a response because it was coming from a genuine place of you're not going to fucking believe this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a lot better than like scripting it all out.
Yeah, it's a balance, right? Because I can sound too rehearsed if I say the thing that I wrote word for word on the page, but then also I have to still have every part memorized. I have to have the whole story in my brain because otherwise, if I'm thinking about what that is the next thing, then
Bert Kreischer said something about this, and Bert's Bert, but it was actually I think it has a lot to do with your point is being on stage is like you're on a boat. And you can, like, the boat are your jokes that you know are going to work. It's like what you know you have to say. And you can jump off the boat and you can swim a little bit, but you always need to come back to the boat.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the way I kind of picture it. Whereas I'll have a premise in my head and I'll have tags in my head and I'll have like what I want to say in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if I meander a little off to the side, that's fine. Just as long as you come back to where you're going.
Well, I think I think having your story or your joke or whatever bury in your body and in your head and memorized, it allows you to do that. It allows you to break away because you're not going to get lost.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get back to. I mean, I went to school for acting, and it was the same thing with memorizing the script. It's like you can't actually play and improvise within the scene and your scene partner unless the words are so in there and the story is so in there, because you're thinking about what the next line is. You're not actually in.
Yeah, you're
I'm
not
actually
in the moment.
I'm able to be more in the moment the more I have kind of, as long as I have the path of what I'm going to say. I don't know word for word, but I know where I'm going. Then I
completely
do
agree.
anything.
And it is interesting because I want to get back to the point that you made about wasting time at mics. Is I understand. I had a friend on. This was when I first started the podcast, so years ago. It was like the 3rd episode. Shout out Stephen Baker. But he made a really good point because I had gotten sober. I got back into comedy. I started treating comedy like a job. And I was like, this is my life. I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to pursue this at the highest level. Like, this is what I want to do. And I would get so infuriated at open mics when people would, just Jacksonville, Florida, people would show up drunk or high and just kind of meander on stage. And I would I'm a bigger guy and I'd be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're wasting all of our time. And I had my buddy Stephen Baker on and he goes, Brennan, for some people, open mics are like karaoke.
Yeah.
Like, it's just to go and have a good time and they're there with their friends and they just want to. Some people take karaoke very seriously. It's their practice because they're in a band or whatever. And then some people just want to dick around after work. And I was like, yeah, maybe I guess I shouldn't get on those people that hard.
Yeah. Well, it's like there should be a place for that thing.
I think it's called an open mic.
No, but it's. Yes, but there's so many here that there should be some where it's like, hey, this is just a hobby. It'll probably end up being the most fun open mic, honestly.
Yeah, right.
It's like
we used to do New Joke Wednesday. Julie Kastner used to run that.
Yeah.
And it was because it was like, if you said like everyone would try all brand new stuff, they like wrote on the way there. And you think like, that sounds so fucking stupid because you're not actually working on material. You're just throwing shit against the wall.
Right.
To your point, it was the most fun mic ever.
Well, I think that you can, to be like, all right, I'm going to be loosey-goosey about this. If I'm attempting a joke, I'm attempting humor, but some people get up there and they're like, this is my time to talk. It's like, well, then, I don't like it when people completely check out of a mic because then you got to go up there too. But sometimes I'm like, this is not worth this is an insult to my attention.
100%.
Right.
Dude, I had it the other day. A guy, and this goes back to some of the younger kids, like, and when I say kids, I mean like the, early 20s.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're getting up there and it's just like, talking about sexual assault and their dicks and their this and their that, which if it's a joke, I'll give anyone a pass if it's funny. If you craft a joke to where you make it genuinely, that's hilarious, or I can see where you're going to make it funny, I will give you my attention to be like, where are you going with this? But if you're just on stage talking about like dick, I'm like, I'm kind of out, man.
Yeah, I think I have to see that you're attempting to try and figure something out, because a lot of those, not that dick is like a touchy stuff, but if you're kind of like going into an area where you're walking the line, or you're just kind of grappling a weird or tough idea, then it doesn't need to be funny for me right out of the gate, but I kind of need to see you actually working through something. You can tell when somebody's kind of saying it for the shock.
I guess that's the point I'm trying to make.
Saying it just for the shock of like the punchline is the bad word or the whatever, or it's like, here's kind of an idea around it or a way to make it. You're trying to somehow make a tough thing palatable so that people can listen to it or hear your idea about it. I mean, I think, in my opinion, Louis is probably the best at doing that. he just has this way of like kind of drawing you in.
Second Louis reference in 2 weeks.
Really?
My last guest
I
was
mean,
talking about going to a Louis show, and she was like, I don't think I can ask anybody to go with me. Because this was right after the stuff, and she's a woman, and she was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to go by myself.
Well, he had a bit about that of like, there's someone in your life that doesn't know you're here or something like that, that you lied to
Which is, and I guess the point is, like, as comics, we can kind of see.
Yeah.
I guess that's my point, where you're absolutely right. It doesn't need to be funny right off the bat. But what I mean is, like, I can see where you're going. But if you're saying a joke just to say rape or retarded, I'm like,
yeah, what
you
else?
just wanted to say that. You just wanted to say that. Like,
yeah, you can sense that, and you can sense when someone goes up and they're just like, vibes. That almost offends me more than somebody trying to be shocking, because the shocking thing is like that is a tool in a sense of like using shock as a way to get a reaction, but it has to be for, I think, a broader purpose. But the going up there and the just the vibes and the
I love how you did the face too, because that's what they go.
It's
hey, what's up,
like,
guys?
Am I right? And it's unfortunate that
you guys feeling this too.
I'm not the first person to have this idea, but like every generation kind of has their guy that they are like. For a while, it was Attell, and then it was Norman. Everyone's kind of doing Norman, and unfortunately, there's so many Shane babies out there right now that it's crazy. And it's
Shane babies is a great way to put it, and it's
true.
It's, but also what he does is like he makes it look like it's just vibes, but it's like, I think he's like, maybe it's because one of my degrees is in history, so like that George Washington bit I think is one of the funniest bits
so funny
of all time.
I saw that live. Like it's so great. But he's also
6'4",
yeah,
redhead coming out of the woods.
But like he's that guy all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that with stand-up nowadays, there's such a people gravitate towards authenticity and all this stuff. And I think he seems like every guy that you went to high school with, and that kind of just, low IQ, we're football, and you know. But that guy is funny, so there's a lot of people trying to force that while also like dressing cool, and like it's just, you could tell
Shane babies.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much. Like, just
you guys get it?
They're trying to
looking through the eyebrows. Get it?
Yeah, where like the punchline is the sort of Catskill lean in, like and which, I mean, listen, when I first started, I was a like pitch perfect impression of Bill Burr on stage. Like,
okay,
yeah,
I was
like,
Dane.
It was pretty much, especially if I was getting into like. If I was starting to bomb, which was a lot back then, I would like
just get angry,
just immediate lean on the mic stand.
Oh
like,
yeah, the
oh my god, it's unreal. You
what
know,
the fuck?
I would just like,
What's
I would
wrong with
like,
you
you know
guys?
what your fucking problem is, you know?
Dude,
like
that's
I would,
so good.
like I would just, but not like now I could do it just for fun, but like I'd really be like, oh no, it's brutal, you know?
Dude,
like
that's
it's
fucking perfect.
And so
I'm gonna clip that and send it to Bill.
Like it was, I didn't even realize that I was doing it until I look back on it now, and I'm like, you were just trying to survive. And I think a lot of times you end up being a mishmash of a lot of your favorite comics, which is like, I can see some of my favorite comics in moments of my stand-up, which I think is fine, because I'm still not like 100% this is my voice and the way I do it. It's like I still think I use elements of a lot of people that it's getting better and better. Like I have more of my voice now than I did when I wrote some of those first jokes that are in my special, where I'm like, I tell them, I'm like, I can't tell us it. I'm so not that. Even the way I'm telling it on stage, I'm like, this is the way I had to tell it to make it work. But I'm
this is
not
how
I'm not that guy anymore. I'm really not that guy.
That is so funny. Yeah, Dane was my guy coming up, because I'm 38 now. Jeez, I'm old. And that Harmful of Swallowed in high school, we all passed that around. Everyone was burning it and passing it around. And my dad is a musician and like rips on the guitar. And so that Comedy Central Presents, where he comes out and he has the whole band kit behind him.
Yeah.
And
that's the one where he like takes his shirt off.
Yeah, it has the tank top, pours the water. Yeah, the alien.
That and Vicious Circle Element, I could probably tell you that special.
That's
like,
another great one. Yeah, what if the aliens came out and they were just 100-foot Native Americans? No, fuck. Good game, guys. We had a good run.
Yeah.
But So my energy, and I did acting and stuff when I was a kid, like stage plays and stuff. So
Yeah.
my whole thing when I first started was the high energy stage presence,
Yeah.
pacing the stage, fucking screaming into the microphone.
Yeah.
And then it's taken me, obviously I've been doing it for a while, and I've kind of realized like I've always had a stage presence, which I kind of, again, to your point, for the first like 5 years, I was just a mimic of Dane.
Right.
Like that original Dane, like when he was much younger, like that's what I was basically doing on stage. And then as I got older and got more into it, I was like, oh, I'm actually a lot more probably subdued than that on stage. Now I barely move. One, because it makes cutting clips easier, and two, because now I'm just like, no, I'm gonna tell you
more
what happened.
like, that's interesting. You're more just like, I'm gonna tell you the thing. Do you find that like your physical presence on stage either hinders you or is an asset?
1,000%.
You think hinders you?
100%. I talk about this all the time, especially where we are now.
Yeah.
In Florida, and also like it's a weird thing. I've told the story a million times, but I did a roast once in New York, and I don't do roasts. I hate roasts. I don't like being mean. I was bullied as a kid. I just don't have that muscle. I'm not good at it. You're like, fucking, I'm the man.
Yeah.
But so I don't do roasts. And then I got asked by someone up here to do a roast, and I was like, I really don't want to. And they're like, come on, man, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And immediately when I stepped on stage, I got face to face with the person I was roasting, who was an attractive woman, younger. And one of the judges was like, stop, turn the music off. What are you doing? Like, why are you being so aggressive? Like, literally stop the show.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's because I'm look the way I look.
Yeah.
And I'm going against a woman, and I like got her because it's a roast. I thought we were like, I'll get in your face, like we're like wrestling, or like be Rabbit in 8 Mile.
Yeah.
And I
didn't like hit her, did you?
No, obviously.
I thought I'd get in your face.
She'd
Full Nelson.
She'd be dead. But like they took it so seriously, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
and I don't want to do the woe is me cis white guy, but like being from Florida, being 6'1", 230 pounds, going to the gym as much as I do, I do come in with a disadvantage of being like, because everyone sees me, and I have a bit about this, but everyone sees me and goes, like, Rogan clone, fucking idiot jock, dumb meathead.
Even though I'm not a big guy, I feel a little bit of that too when I'm on stage. Kind of like,
all right.
Your first impression as I'm walking to the stage or when I get up there and start talking is like I don't know if it's like this is a bad guy, but there's something like this is a little shit. Like this is I don't know if I like this guy yet.
Yeah, 100%. And so I think it definitely hinders. And the funny thing is like, and that's why I'm not good with hecklers either, because full transparency, I'm a big baby. I cry at Star Wars. You know, you were the chosen one.
Star Wars.
When Anakin turns to Darth Vader, it's a whole thing. But like
when they're on the yeah.
But like I'm a baby, like I'm a giant baby. I listen to Taylor Swift when I'm at the gym. Like I talk about all this on stage, but I am a giant. Like I cry at everything.
Yeah.
But I do have the switch I can flip. So like if I'm getting heckled, the reason why I'm bad at it, I've gotten better, obviously, over the last decade, but I'm still bad at it where if someone keeps interrupting me, I'm very much like hey, do you hear what I'm talking about up here? Like this is real life. I will put this microphone away and we can fucking handle this however you want to. And immediately people are like, we knew it. We knew this guy was that guy. We knew he was a fucking dickhead.
Right.
And I'm like, no. We're playing, guys. We're having fun. And I'm like, ah, shit.
Isn't this so funny? It's like they want to put you in a box so much when they're almost painting you as the guy who would do that to other people in a weird way, where like everybody's freaking judgmental is my point. Like
100%.
I know you're judging me the second I step up here, and I do it to them too. Like
there's so many times where someone gets on stage and I go, this is gonna suck, and then they crush, and I'm like, I was wrong.
Well, that or just I'm like, you look this way, so I'll write people off of like, you're gonna hate this.
Yeah.
And it's a
thing.
thing
You're talking about when you're looking out at the audience?
When I'm looking out. Like, I'm doing it as much as they're doing it to me. And, like, that's why Pine Box and the Cupboard are, like, more Pine Box for, like, a mic or something. I'm like, there's no room that I'm more uncomfortable because I just feel like you guys are not going to like me.
Yeah.
I have the most bland looking clothes. Like I'm everything that you don't like.
Yep.
And it's not always the case. And I had to talk to another comic, ironically, who looks very similar to me, Mike McPartland. And he was like, you're not the bad guy that you think you are to them a lot of the time. Like, don't immediately go up there and be like, they're going to hate all of this, because you're actually hindering yourself from, you're telling your jokes in a way that's kind of like,
yeah, they're getting ready to hate you.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know. It's not always the case.
It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy when you do it like that, because
Yeah.
they're like, okay, well, he thinks we're going to hate him, so give us a reason to hate him.
Yeah. Kind of a thing. But I was curious because, like I like to work out too and stuff. And sometimes I just feel this, there's like a thing in comedy where it does work better if you're like a big tub of shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. So there's a couple of things. One,
Or somewhere in between.
well, we always do this. I mean, I say we always. I always play this game where you see someone and you go, what quality of mine is better than that person's? Again, back to the judging thing. And so it can be difficult when I get on stage and people look at me and they go, all right, well, he's a big guy. He's obviously a strong guy. He's probably not going to be funny. Like, in their heads, it's very much like there's got to be something on him. And I have discovered that self-deprecating, with the way I look, self-deprecating doesn't always land, because people will be like, fuck you.
Right.
And then also I have learned, and this happens a lot more in the South than it does in the Northeast, but sometimes in the Northeast, and it's a very Boston thing. I would, you think you're better than me? But it is one of those things where nobody likes, like, when especially dude bros, like the Gillis, Kill Tony, and I keep referencing those guys because I think when I say that, people can immediately picture who I'm talking about. Like the Legion of Skanks fans, they don't, when they, like someone like me, they're like, fuck this guy. And I experienced that a lot when I was playing college football, where like you'd go to a bar and all these high school athletes that were washed out or were garbage were like, fuck that guy. He's not better than I am. Yeah. And I think people see me and I'm a pretty normal looking guy. I mean, other than being a bigger guy, I'm a pretty normal looking guy. Yeah. So I think it is one of those things where if I get on stage, some of those guys that always wanted to try comedy or that love comedy but never did it, look at me and they go, this guy's not fucking better than me. Because I look just like them. I am them. Yeah. But I'm on stage getting laughs and they're not, and they can't process why.
Yeah. See, that's where I think I get a little bit of leeway, because all those guys look at me and they're like, well, I could kick the shit out of them. So
see, I don't. When it is this old prophecy of like, in a bar, when everyone's drunk, every guy wants to fight the biggest guy at the bar. Because it's like,
I do not have that experience.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I said it's more of like a Southern thing, but it is one of those things where people are like, fuck this. And I do understand it, because when I was drinking and I stopped doing comedy for a long time, I would watch other comics and be like, they're not fucking better than, like, I could fucking do this. Yeah. So, I mean, I understand it, but I mean, again, I say hindrance, but to what extent? Like, I'm still, we've both shot specials. Like, we're doing, like, it's not enough to where I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore.
No, I just don't want it to be, I hate that I even think about it.
I think about it all the time. If I get on stage and it's like, I remember one time I did a show in Philadelphia for the African American Women's Professional Women's Association. Mm-hmm. So 200 older black women. Yeah. And I remember being like, oh, this is going to go fucking poorly. Yeah. I didn't say it, but, in my head, I was like, to the point where the booker booked 5 straight white dudes for this show, for this, the African American Professional Women's Association of Philadelphia. 200 women. And he booked 5 straight white guys. And I remember I was supposed to do 20 minutes before the headliner. And the host went up, bombed. Next person went up, bombed. The owner, Booker, came up to me and said, hey, I know you're supposed to do 20. If you just want to do 5, that's fine. I'll still pay you. Like, that's how bad it was going. So those are instances where I'm like, this isn't for them.
See, I almost feel the opposite, where like, to me, that completely lowers the stakes. Everybody else is bombing. I'm like, oh, so I have to be better than a bomb? Like, to me, I'm like,
I'm like, oh, I need to go up there and change the whole vibe.
If every straight white guy who was on that show was murdering, now I'm like, God damn it. Like, now I have to show that I can also play any room. Like, it's almost like if everyone else is bombing, then in a way, like, I think we all do, like, I do best in the rooms where it feels like there's no stakes. Yeah. But in a room like that, I'd be like, it's the most stakes. It's so much.
Everyone's crushing. This is going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I love stand up. I've been, we've both been doing it for a while. It is one of those things though where, and I don't know if this is, and tell me if I don't know if this is the former athlete in me or if this is the like introvert in me, but I am very much like it's on me. So there are a lot of times where, and I still will be like, man, that audience, anybody else feeling that? Like that was weird. Yes. And a lot of times it is validating for people to be like, yeah, they fucking sucked. But for me, I'm always like, no, it's my job. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm getting paid. It is my job to find the common through line that we can relate to. And sometimes I will admit that I get off stage and I'm like, that was a fucking disaster. Like, you suck at this. Quit comedy.
Do you ever address it on stage?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Where if I do a bit that works all the time and then that bombs and then I transition to like a completely different set of material to be like, okay, you guys aren't into that. Let's talk about this. And then that bombs, I will be like, is it me? Like, what's going on, guys? Like,
what do you do? Like, let's say you're 7 minutes into a 20-minute set and you've been kind of bombing the whole time. Like, at what point do you like kind of shift strategy? Do you address them or the room, or like how do you go about that?
So it depends. I've done shows before where it was just like maybe 20, 30 people. I'm doing 20 minutes. And then there's like one table of 5 people. So, a quarter of the room that's obliterated, hammered. And I'll never forget one time the host introduced me and I got on stage. And I said, hey, what's up, everybody? Like the host said, my name is Brennan Tassif. And someone just went, not funny. And I was like, and I got through 20 minutes of material in 13 minutes because I panicked and I just started talking. And I remember looking at my watch being like, I'm out. Like, I'm out of material. Like, I was freaking out. And, when you're in that mind state, like, I can't be like, no, I've got a ton of, like, I have an hour.
Yeah.
But I had the 20 minutes written down on my set list and I put it on the stool and then I burned through it and I was like, I can't remember any of my other material.
Yeah.
And in those instances, because I'm a storyteller by nature, I'll just start telling a story.
Interesting.
I will address the room sometimes. I've gotten better at it, especially now having a son. I've got this like go-to. If someone's being a dick, I have this whole like, yeah, I was so excited about having a son, but now after seeing you, man, I'm like, you might grow up to be a dickhead who shouts out at comedy shows.
Yeah.
And like that has kind of been like my diffuser lately.
Yeah.
But full transparency, a lot of times I turn into podcast mode. Where I'm like, no dead air, just keep talking.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I think that's the natural,
because I don't like going into the crowd because then I can get real aggressive.
I think it's the natural instinct to like want to speed up and kind of just power through. Because I'm like, as long as there's noise coming out of the speakers, then it's fine. It's fine. But I think I credit my buddy Peter Wong. He's great at doing this, and takes a bravery of like almost going the opposite way of like slowing down, and letting more space. Because the whole time, I think if you are burning through the material and it's still not landing, the audience is just kind of sitting there, and they're almost waiting for you to be done. Like they want this to be over, but like you can kind of snap the matrix in a way if you're like, you're just not saying anything, but you're still looking
I never
at
thought
him.
of that.
Like
I am very big on, especially now, because I'll be like, in my head, I'll go, slow down. Slow down. Because I will be like, if one punchline doesn't get a laugh, I'll be like, I just have to run to the next punchline.
Yeah.
Because I need that laugh.
Yeah. I mean, I think about even my special when I watch it now. I've seen it a million times over the edit, and I am like, I even wish I slowed down a bit during that, but it was such I had the hour just so like tight in the transitions, and everything was kind of like just set, and I wish that I was a little bit more free flowy with the rhythm and the pacing and all that stuff, and I really kind of took the time to sit in some of those jokes. But I think that was just pure nerves, because I had never done one before, and I was feeling the same way. I'm like, even though this crowd couldn't be more in my,
it's a home game.
It's a home game, but I still felt like I was like, I want to get through this.
Yeah.
Like I'm uncomfortable. They're not uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable.
That was my first show, and then the second show I was just dicking around, and
Yeah.
then Lex came up to me and he goes, "So we got it," and I was like, "Yeah, dude, first show, lock it in, hit every tag I wanted to, spacing was good,
Yeah,
timing
yeah,
was good."
yeah.
He goes, "No, you idiot, it was the second show," and I was like, "What?"
That's so funny because I felt
He goes, "Why does every comic always go, it's the first show, it's the first show?"
I felt the first show I had, pretty much hit every, I think I forgot one joke, but the first 10 minutes I was watching myself do stand-up comedy, and I was like aware of every noise, soda pop in the room. Like I was not present at all. And then the second show, I was like, I had a beer, like in between shows, I was like loose, I was having fun.
Hot.
But the first show overall, it was maybe like 60-40, but it was still a better.
The first show.
The first show was a better show, but I got off being like, that was the show. And pretty much everybody was like, no, it was the first show. And I was like, shit.
I honestly, it was weird too, because I printed out my set list. I highlighted all the transitions, because basically mine is a through line. My whole thing is like from start to finish. It's basically from where I was when I was drinking all the way to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And so the transitions the segues were the most important for me, because I wanted to feel like it was just someone telling you a story that was
Right.
very, very funny.
You didn't want like a harsh.
Yeah, so I was like very avoidant of like,
Yeah,
whoa, did I ever mention I was good at segues? Like, which I've done a million times, like
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
12-minute showcase spot,
Yeah.
because you're just trying to get to the next thing. But on this one, I was like, it has to blend.
Same.
So I literally printed out the set list, big letters, highlighted every transition, and I taped it to the stage. And speaking of timing, one of the things that helped me slow down was if I was like, because this material we know, like I could do it right now if I had to.
Yeah.
But like if I was coming up, or if something happened in the crowd I wasn't anticipating, or if I got a bigger laugh than I was like on a throwaway line that I
Yeah.
wasn't anticipating, I would have to stop and kind of look down, almost like I was looking at the audience, but look
You
down
would
and
look
be
to
like,
see, yeah.
where am I? What am I doing next?
Yeah.
Where am I going from? And it forced me to like stop, settle, let's keep going.
I didn't do that, but I had my buddy. He had note cards. He had every joke. He was following along basically, and I was like, I felt pretty confident. I'm like, if I skip something, I'm gonna find my way to the next thing. I was just worried about forgetting a joke,
Yeah.
not necessarily what the next thing is. So I was like, just make a note if I forget something, and then we'll catch it in like pickups, or we'll get it in the second show. We'll do
Yeah.
it at the end or whatever. And that was pretty. I only flubbed, or I only forgot one joke, but I told him, I'm like, don't write something down if it doesn't come out super clean, like super polished,
Mhm.
because that's sort of my style. Is I might trip over my words a little bit and then get to the idea, because that's how I do it naturally.
Normally, yeah.
I'm not a every word 0 fat, like
Dude, there's so many ums and
yeah, which there's a line, because you can't have too many of those either.
Yeah.
Like now it's so bad. When I
Luckily,
listen
Lex
to-
took a ton of them out.
did he?
Yeah.
I listen to sets now, and I will tally the amount of you knows and you know what I means.
Yeah.
For me are
I
the
say
worst.
this is one of the worst things. Is I say, I don't know.
I
And
don't-
my
yeah.
headliner had to come up to me and he goes, "Hey, you know."
Yeah.
So it just makes it look like you're not confident. So
Right.
say, instead of saying I don't know, say, you know. Then
Yeah.
he goes, I don't like that either, but that's better than
Yeah.
saying, I don't know. I don't know.
I'll say
because I'll say like 4 or 5 times, I don't know. I
Well,
don't
that
know, I
like
don't know."
that's your brain being like,
Yeah.
what's the next thing?
Mhm.
Mine is I'll say the punchline, and then you know what I mean. It's like it's because I'm nervous about
You
leaving.
get it?
It's about leaving that punch. I'm not totally confident, or it's like a newer joke and I haven't tested enough to where I'm like, I know this idea tracks. A lot of the times jokes start for me where I'm like, I know what I mean by this, and I know what I'm talking about.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a weird, because I have like always, I have the funny thing in my head and the idea, and then I almost have to reverse engineer to find out what the premise is.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, this is funny to me, but I don't know how to make you understand. Like, I don't exactly know what I'm trying to say with this
Yeah.
at this moment.
There's so many times where I'm like, that's hilarious. And I'm like, yeah, but how do I get there?
Right.
Like, I have a bit about sobriety being un-American because we ended prohibition 30 years before the civil rights movement. And I was like, that's funny to me. Like, as someone who studies history, like that idea that it's like, there's so many problems, but they're like, no, we have to figure out this whiskey situation is so funny to me, but I have no fucking way to get into the bit.
Well, yeah, you have to make it past the who gives a shit test.
Yeah. And like, then also me being like, civil rights, right, guys?
Yeah. Right. There's a lot of,
but to me, that idea is just so like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you, dude. We talked about comedy for about 40 minutes. So did you, from the Northeast, from New York? No.
Yeah. No, not from New York. I was raised in Maryland.
Okay.
I always say raised in Maryland, but a Jersey household. Because I was born in New Jersey, very quickly moved to Maryland. But my parents are my whole family's from Jersey.
Yeah.
So that's where I grew up, like going to visit family, or like this summer, my grandmother had a house in Wildwood Crest, and like, so
fucking
that's where
Wildwood.
It's the best.
King of the boards.
So I don't seem like a guy who's from Maryland. Like when I go and I visit the people I went to high school with, I'm like, oh, how do you sound like that? Like it's
Wooder.
Yeah, what's going on? How you guys doing down there? You know, I'm like,
weirdos.
Yuck.
What brought you? Because you mentioned Bill Burr earlier, but what was the reason? Because comedy is a niche thing, and obviously both of us are into it. We've been doing it a long time. What was kind of the precipice? Because I mentioned it earlier when I saw Dane Cook pour the water on him on that Comedy Central Presents. I remember looking at the TV, going, "I want to do that."
Well, he was one of the first guys that I watched. I mean, Gaffigan doing the Hot Pocket bit was huge.
The Mexican food one is a big one for me.
Yeah, like
cheese, tortilla, meat, lettuce.
Yeah.
What is a tostada?
Yeah. What is a burrito? Tortilla, meat, cheese, vegetable. Yeah, I mean, I'd always loved stand-up, but it never seemed like a thing that I was going to pursue. I liked performing, though, so I did acting, and I did plays.
When did you start acting?
Middle school.
Okay.
I was in a music class, and the girl who did drama, she was passing out flyers for like drama club to come and be a part of drama club. And I think I asked her, I'm like, is it hard to do drama? And she was like, what? She's like, no. And so I just went to the club, and then, I just joined. And then the first show I did was Godspell.
Okay.
The musical. And
fell in love with it? Loved acting? Or
I loved performing. I don't think at that age I was super involved. I wasn't like,
I'm a thespian.
Yeah, I wasn't like Johnny Depp in my process, or like I just love the
attention.
I love performing. I love getting it. You feel that rush, that fuel, or whatever it is.
Dude, I remember 8th grade. I walked out on stage for a Christmas play, and I spaced all my lines.
Really?
And I walked out, and I remember it was the first one I ever did, and I remember walking out there, and not 8th grade. I think I was 8 years old, and I walked out there, and I was like, ah. And I looked down at the director, and she gave me the first line, and then it clicked in. And the lights, and everyone like, ah, because it was a funny, like my role was funny.
Yeah.
Everyone laughing, and it was like, who killed Santa Claus? And I was the detective, like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I like this.
Rips.
I like this.
Yeah, I love.
I wasn't in the back like, yeah,
But who is my character? Yeah.
Who is the detective?
Yeah. I mean, middle school and even in high school, like. High school is probably when I started to be like, okay, we're there more complex plays and stuff, and I got into it. But the high school I went to was brand new when I went there.
Okay.
So
big school, small school?
I guess kind of it was weird. It's a middle school and a high school combined.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I went to a different middle school. So my freshman year, there were only freshmen and sophomore in the high school.
Oh, because it's brand new.
So there's no upperclassmen. So I was the first class to do all 4 years. So it was kind of a weird experience.
How many kids in your graduating class?
Oh, I don't know.
A couple hundred?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Okay. Well, I always, because it's interesting to me, because I went to a high school that was 3,500 kids, 3,800 kids.
Yeah.
So like I had 500 and something kids in my graduating class. So reason I ask is because I've had people on here where they're like, oh, I had 12 in my graduating. And I'm like, oh, so you were just friends with everybody.
Right.
So for you, it was kind of like in the middle.
It was kind of in the middle, and I was definitely like known as the kid who did the plays and stuff. I was like very
popular.
He's
the fucking actor guy.
I was popular in school, and I had a very small core group of friends outside of school.
Okay.
Like I was in school, I'm like, hey, what's going on? But I wouldn't be invited to the party.
That's what I was going to ask next.
Yeah,
Okay. You
I was
saw where I
not-
was going.
I was not that guy. Sometimes one of those guys would bring me, and then it was all good. But I was never.
I had a very similar experience because I got bullied a lot. So I wasn't like by the football player. So I wasn't like friends with the football team.
Yeah.
But I knew when I would walk through the halls, I would like, hey, what's up? How you doing? How you doing?
Right.
And I was also in IB, which was like a special program. So I knew all the smart kids from that. I knew a lot of the jocks from playing sports.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew a bunch of people,
That's
but I didn't,
Yeah.
like I didn't go to my first house party in high school until I was a senior.
that's how I won prom king.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
because you just knew.
Because I had everybody.
Yeah.
I had the drama kids. I also did the morning announcements, so I was on the TV every morning.
Crushing.
So like I did it as a goof. So I'm just using that as a platform.
Don't
But
forget to
then
vote for prom king, everybody.
yeah, I did my freshman year. I did football, but then I had to quit because it coincided with theater. Which telling your football coach you're quitting to do theater, I mean, that's
Hey. Different journeys for everybody,
it's
man.
tough. So I think I had enough of all the groups to get the amount of votes.
Prom king, huh?
Yeah, for what it's worth. And then I go to college, and it doesn't mean anything.
Where did you go to
Yeah.
college?
Montclair State,
Okay.
New Jersey.
So when did you? So you came back home.
Yeah.
When did you? You mentioned not going to a bunch of parties and stuff like that. When was the first time you like drank? Like, oh, we're gonna do it like
It was in
super
a-
bad. Here we go.
It was first time I drank. I was at a party I'd never done before, and there was like the resident alcoholic who was like, "Let me."
High school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had whatever, not even that much, but I was such a lightweight that a few beers like sent me over. Whatever. It wasn't until I got to college where, drinking liquor and my freshman year, my buddy Esteban and I, we would go around our dorm and we would just knock on people's doors and we would just have a bottle of liquor and be like, "Do you want to drink?" And we would.
That's
we
how you win college prom
We
king
would
right there.
split a bottle of rum.
Yeah.
We would split a bottle of rum, and
That was a story you
it
sent
was
me.
yeah. Like I can't even taste it. Like Cruzan rum.
Oh.
Yeah, just so bad. And I stopped because I had like a really weird run-in with these two girls that we met where we don't know who lives behind the door. We just knock on the door. There was these two girls. They invite us in. We all start drinking. I think my buddy knew one of them. I kind of forget. But anyway, he's kind of vibing with this girl, and I was like sort of vibing with this girl. And we're so hammered, like half a bottle of rum hammered. And we kind of like start to hook up a bit or whatever, but it's dark. And I was in her little twin XL bed,
Oh,
in
yeah.
college.
Yeah.
And I had like turned over or to readjust, and you have those concrete walls there, and I smacked my head against the concrete wall. I just hit my head on it, and I am in a daze. But
Stars. You
she
seen stars.
didn't
all
really
this.
see it because it's dark, and I was like, I need. She's trying to hook up, and I'm like, I need a minute. I'm like, I can't see right now. I'm nauseous, and she's kind of getting like upset, and I don't know where.
What are
I
you
got
talking
the-
about? I need a minute.
I don't know where I got the balls, but I was like, you got to go.
Aren't you in her room?
I'm in her apartment, and I was like, "You gotta go." and she did. She got up and left. I don't know where she went, but I was like, just like laying in the bed, like, "Okay, you're fine." And then my buddy kind of is like, "What's
On the other side of the
yeah,
room.
like what's going on?" He kind of sees there's a stir happening, and I was like, "I'm, not doing well." So a few minutes goes by. The girl comes back into the room with like 3 dudes.
Oh shit.
3. I don't know where these guys came from, but and we're not talking, and it's just
Not
kind of this
vibing anymore?
Yeah, no, it's just like this weird environment, and I'm fully clothed at this point, and we kind of me and this girl kept catching eyes, and she was just like, I don't know, giving one of these, and there were so many things I was feeling. My ego was bruised. I was mad. I was.
Did she say like
I
get
was
out?
embarrassed.
Did anybody say
No,
anything?
we were all just sitting there, and then there were the 3 guys were in there, and I had
That's so awkward.
on me because, I thought this is what you had to do. I always carried a lot of condoms on me because just in case, I'm like, one breaks, you put it inside out. I was never good with condoms, so I had like a bunch on me, And so I took them and says, don't do this. And I looked at the guys and I went, have fun, have fun, have fun. And I left. And I left my buddy back there too. And he's like, hold on. And he came out after me, and I would still see that girl around campus after that.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming she was down the hall.
Yeah. That's when I stopped like drinking like that on a regular basis.
Okay, so freshman year in college, you were like...
Freshman year, it was like... That's when I was like shots. I was never a shot cut, but I would do shot. We have class 8 a.m. and next morning. Who gives a shit? Taking shots. But after that, I tried to be more intentional, and I think I only ever blacked out after that in college on my 21st.
That's insane. That's I mean that in a good way, like complimentary. There's so many people that I went to school with where, and myself included, obviously I've been sober for a long time and I go to those secret meetings for a reason.
Yeah.
Where it was like everyone else's issue.
Yeah.
Like I love to get fucked up. If I do something stupid, that's because you did this or you did that. And I did that for so long to the point where it was like, oh, now I have a problem with drinking because I never wanted the party to end. You have one cool experience and you're like, every time. And then if it didn't end that way, you're like, next time it'll be better. But you were like, we're not going to do it next time.
Well, I was like, I also was thankfully in like an environment where, if I was cast in a show or whatever, I was lucky enough to be like a pivotal role. Like my schedule was just fucking brutal. Like I have classes early all day, and like I'm going to school for acting. I'm getting a BFA, so my 8 a.m. class is not math; it's ballet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't be fucked up without serious consequences. So we would still drink. The only other 2 times I blacked out in college was I mixed a lot of vodka with a lot of Red Bull, and I woke up. And on my arm in Sharpie it said, "Love is a lie, nothing is real." So that shows you where I was at in college.
Breakup?
Not even. It was just like that girl I like doesn't like me, or is talking.
Love is a lie.
That girl I like that I never told.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah,
I love that you brought up the freshman year story. There were so many times in college that had like where it would just be. I remember one time at a party, because I'm very bad with making moves. Like I'm very much. I don't know if it's because I was raised by women or I'm just awkward. I don't know. I just won't do it. And I remember all the other football players used to be like, dude, you play football. They want to hook up with you. You just have to, you have to be confident and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Which obviously leads to a lot of other problematic things for them and for football players in general. But I remember one time at this party, I got like blackout drunk. And this girl and I were, to your point, I thought we were vibing, as the kids say now. And she's like, oh, I'm going to head home. And I was like, all right, I guess we're going home. And I got in her car with her.
Oh, boy.
And she was like, yeah, my boyfriend should be home soon. And I was like, but I'm so drunk. And in my head, I know I have no intentions of making a move because I already don't do that. I was like, well, yeah, I'm just going to crash on your couch if that's okay. Like, because I was so drunk and I had no car. I had nowhere to, like, I didn't know how I was going to get home. And I remember waking up at like 5 a.m. on her couch.
Was the boyfriend a bluff?
No. I have no idea. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember getting back to her apartment and she's like, I guess you can just sleep on the couch. And I was like, all right, cool. And just passed out on the couch.
Yeah.
Woke up at 5 a.m., got sandals from the front door that ended up being hers. I thought they were mine. Walked a mile in her sandals, feet like blistered and bleeding and just fell asleep in front of an ABC Liquor. And then a cop came and was like, yo, what are you doing, guy? And I was like, I don't know where I am. I don't know how to get home.
Beacon still went to a liquor store.
But like in my head, it's like, that's a situation where in college, everyone was like, that's a crazy thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
If it happened to me at 30, people would be like, dude, we got to check you into a place.
Yeah.
But in college, they're just like, yeah, it was wild, right?
Yeah, it's weird now. Like
some girl just shows up with 3 dudes and you're like, I guess I'm out of here.
Yeah, and I felt like I needed to win the situation. So I'm like, yeah, I hit my head and then my dick didn't work. So here's a condom for the rest of you guys.
Well, the same thing. She was like, my boyfriend's at home. And I was like, that's cool. I'll sleep on the couch.
Yeah. I'm like, in no state was I ever like, even if I was drinking to the point where I had the confidence to then approach a girl. I'm like, even if it goes the best it could go, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm so inebriated.
Same.
Yeah. But
what happened? You said 21st birthday was the other time?
21st birthday, just my friends took me out. And I remember like, they're buying me shots that are called like a brain hemorrhage and stuff. Like, you don't even know what's in them. there's a video of me. I don't remember doing this, but I'm in front of my dorm building and I'm puking in the grass. And my buddy goes, "I'll give you $1 if you get in a downward dog right now." And I did it, and then puked, and then fell in it. And a cop drove by and saw me and saw all my friends. They're like, "Is he all right or whatever?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's good. He's just, he's just getting it out." And then my buddy was like, "Do you have any water?" Because he saw the cop had a bottle of water. He's like, "Can we get some water?" And she was like, "No," and then just drove off.
That happened outside the ABC liquor store. The cop who showed up and woke me up, he called me a cab, and I went to shake his hand, and he was like, "Nah,"
Yeah,
and walked away. And I was like, I wanted to be like, "Fuck you," but I was like, "Yeah, I get it."
Yeah.
What happened with the Breslin staff party?
Oh man, I used to work at this restaurant called the Breslin. It's no longer.
Was this in New York?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was on.
When did you move to New York?
2015.
Okay.
I started working there maybe 2017 and
Server?
Started as a server. Kind of a bunch of people got fired, and then I was the manager. But I was a server at this time, and they had a staff party that was kind of a mix of like a staff and costume party. It was held at this restaurant, and it was rock and roll themed. And so, open bar. I went as Ozzy Osbourne,
Of course.
and so I had a wig and like like the glasses and
What era Ozzy Osbourne? Like old, like
yeah. I mean, that's the impression that I was doing.
Yeah,
And so I go, and it's an open bar, but they have kind of the staff cocktail is a Manhattan, and so I just start
Pounding
I just start pounding Manhattans, and I'm dancing. I'm starting to get really, really fucked up, and then I didn't realize this was a part of it. It was a costume contest.
Yeah.
Which I apparently won.
From prom king to costume contest.
So I win, and part of it is like, gift cards and that, and then a bottle of champagne, to which I allegedly popped and then just started chugging. So it was like all the Manhattans mixed with the champagne, and then I just
lights out.
The lights went out, and this has all been told to me now. Like I start kind of puking, and I'm a fucking mess. And this is a staff work party. HR is there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm in some back room, and all the other servers are seasoned drinking. They're like, "Just give him some water, put him in a cab home, he'll be fine." She's like, "No, we can't do that." So they call an ambulance.
Oh no.
So the ambulance comes, and they take me, and I wake up in the hospital.
No.
I wake up in the hospital.
Dressed as Ozzy Osbourne.
I think they took the wig off because there was puke in it. But I'm supposed to be also at work at like 8 a.m. And I probably wake up at like 5 a.m. in the hospital, and there's a nurse there. And I'm like, "Hello?" And he's like, "Hey." Didn't tell me like what's going on or anything.
Hey.
And I was still drunk at that point. And my girlfriend at the time who I was living with, she knew I went to the party, but then woke up in the middle. I just had one of those feelings, woke up, I wasn't there, and I should have been home. And she starts to kind of like freak out. And I hadn't texted her. I didn't do anything. So she like checks her phone. She checks her messages like on Messenger.
Yeah.
And just happens to check the request folder. And one of my buddies who was a server had messaged her being like, "Hey, he's at such and such hospital." One of the ones where there's like, there's a bunch of locations.
Yeah.
So she starts to go towards a location. She hops in a cab at the middle of the night and realizes she's going to the wrong location. So she gets out of the cab because she's too poor at the time to afford the change in direction. Like,
just come around.
I can't afford to take a cab. So then she's got to get out in the middle of the night and then take the train and meet me there. I don't know all of this is happening. Obviously, I'm passed out. And I saw her. She made it to the hospital. I was just like, "That was my person." And then she took me home, and I went into work 2 days after that. And there were
so you had to work the next day.
I had to work the next
Obviously
day.
Didn't show up.
My buddy was the manager, and I texted him.
I'm not going to be
in
there.
the hospital. I go, "I might be a little late." And he goes, "Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, you're not coming into work." And I was like, "Okay." And so by the time I did get into work, I'm seeing like line cooks and back of house people that I've never said a word to.
Yeah.
And they see me and they're like, "Oh, my friend." Like, they just apparently... I had made a huge impact.
Did you get in any trouble?
I didn't, and I think it's because I went to the hospital.
Okay.
But there were other people, and they kind of got pissed at me, even though it's not my fault. They were late that day, and they got in trouble, but I didn't. And I think it's because I went to the hospital. But after that, there were no more staff parties.
Yeah, it's interesting. That was a big pivot. I remember when I first started working in restaurants, because I've worked in restaurants now for 20-something years.
Yeah.
When I first started at 18, even before that, 16 as a busser, there was like legit holiday parties.
Yeah.
Like you go, it's open bar, everyone gets after it. People are hooking up with people.
Yeah.
You know, the server's hooking up with the hostess and the line cook's hooking up with the servers. And it's like a whole thing. And it was like that forever. And then, you know, obviously these companies get bigger and bigger,
Yeah.
a couple liability lawsuits. And now all of a
Yeah.
sudden there's the kibosh on that. You're not doing that anymore. And I just like, even this past year, we my restaurant, we had a big like holiday party, and it was just us at the restaurant that we work at.
Ticket.
Not even. It was just us at the restaurant that we work at before service, because it's only dinner only, eating food that we like normally pass as hors d'oeuvres for like big parties. And like that was our holiday party, and it was kind of like,
That sucks. So
all right,
much.
cool.
Yeah.
God, I remember when I worked for Outback, dude, you'd go to a fucking dive bar in Florida and just get obliterated. And then for months, everyone's like, you remember when Brennan took his pants off and started running around the bar?
I really think it's good for like the for like people.
Morale,
work.
yeah.
Yeah. Because that doesn't happen anymore. I don't think like there's as many like work happy hours, and some people loathe that, but I do think it's kind of.
It is very. I think it is very good.
Especially for a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like that is the culture. You really need to let off the steam
and everyone in my, not everyone, there's a bunch of people in my restaurant that go to a specific bar that's right down the street from my restaurant, you know, not every night, but most nights. And then definitely Friday and Saturday, because those are the hardest shifts. And they're so tight.
Yeah.
And I'm on the outside of that because obviously I don't go, and like I'm gregarious and I'm personable and I'm pretty close with everyone at work. But like there is that one thing where it's like, oh, I wasn't at the bar when we had to call the ambulance for the bartender because that just happened a few months ago to one of our bartenders, because he got so drunk he like fell into a bush like face first in the middle of the snow. And it's like, oh, they had to call like I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
So when everyone's talking about it the next day, I'm kind of like, yeah, crazy guys.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah. Man.
Dude.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, but you know, what are you gonna do? You were prom king and you won the costume contest.
You know, I just keep
and you
showing
didn't
up
get
for
fired.
life. They promoted me.
Yeah, you became the manager.
I became the manager.
Dude, this was fun. We gotta go. We're past the hour, man.
We did it.
Before we go anywhere, plug everything one more time. The special, your social media,
Yes.
your podcast, all the stuff.
Special Overzealous out on YouTube, probably in September, most likely. And then follow me on Instagram, TikTok, all that at Tayler Comedy, Tayler. Yeah, look out for that. I have a podcast that I do with Steve Rogers and Peter Wong called He. It's very silly and dumb, and we have
Steven Rogers, friend of the show.
he's the best. We have dumb reoccurring bits that we do. The Instagram for that is also He. So follow us there.
Beautiful. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. At Brennan T. Comedy on social media. BrennanTComedy.com. I'll be in Milwaukee. I'll be in Chicago in August. Also going to be around the New York area, so get your tickets there. And check out the special, Chasing Dreams, September 24th on YouTube. Look at us.
Bam.
We both shot at Grove 34. Look at
We did
us. We'll talk to y'all next week. Boom.
Bye.